Picture this. It is a Sunday evening. You are sitting on your couch with your laptop open, scrolling through your bank statement, and something does not feel right. You are staring at a charge for $14.99, then another for $9.99, then another for $12.99. You do not recognize half of these names. You click on one. It is a meditation app you downloaded 8 months ago when you could not sleep. You used it twice. You click on another. It is a cloud storage service you signed up for because you ran out of space on your phone. You never moved a single file. You keep scrolling. A fitness app, a language learning platform, a recipe subscription box, a productivity tool you forgot existed. You add them up, $117 every single month, for things you do not use, for things you forgot you were paying for things that started as free. You feel that familiar sinking feeling in your stomach. Not anger, something worse. Shame. Because you are not stupid. You knew these trials would convert. You told yourself you would cancel. You even set a reminder on your phone, but you did not cancel. And now, 8 months later, you have quietly bled almost $1,000 into the void. Here is what nobody tells you about free trials. They are not gifts. They are not generous offers from companies who want you to experience their product. They are psychological traps engineered by teams of behavioral scientists, product designers, and conversion specialists whose entire job is to exploit the wiring of your brain. My name is Bobby, and I spend way too much time thinking about the invisible forces that drain our bank accounts while we are not paying attention. If you have ever signed up for something free and ended up paying for it for months or even years without using it, this conversation is for you. Today, we are going to dissect one of the most profitable psychological exploits in modern commerce. We are going to talk about the sunk cost effect, how free trials weaponize it against you, and why your brain literally cannot resist throwing good money after bad. Let us start with a number that should make you uncomfortable. The average American thinks they spend $86 a month on subscriptions. The actual number is $219. That is not a small gap. That is 2.5 times more than people estimate. That is over $1,500 a year in hidden bleeding that most people do not even know is happening. And here is the part that should terrify you. 42% of consumers report being charged for a free trial they forgot to cancel. Almost half. That is not a failure of memory. That is a feature, not a bug. These companies are betting on your forgetfulness. They are counting on it. They have modeled it into their revenue projections. The subscription economy is worth nearly $500 billion today. It will hit $1.5 trillion within a decade. That growth is not coming from people who love their subscriptions and consciously choose to keep paying. It is coming from people like you and me who signed up for something free, got busy, and forgot. But here is what makes this even more insidious. Even when you remember, even when you look at that charge and think about canceling, something stops you. Something in your brain whispers that it would be wasteful to quit now, that you have already invested time setting it up, that maybe you will use it next month, that the effort you put in would be lost if you walked away. That whisper has a name. It is called the sunk cost fallacy, and it is the invisible hand keeping your wallet open while your bank account bleeds dry. Let me explain how this works, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The sunk cost effect was first formally studied by psychologists Hal Arkus and Catherine Bloomer back in 1985. They discovered something fascinating about human behavior. People have a greater tendency to continue doing something once they have invested money, effort, or time into it, even when continuing makes no logical sense. Think about that. The rational thing to do is always to evaluate your current options based on future costs and benefits. What you spent yesterday should be irrelevant to what you decide today. But humans do not work that way. We treat past investments as reasons to keep investing, even when the investment is clearly failing. Arkus and Bloomer proved this with simple experiments. They asked people to imagine they had bought a $100 ticket to a ski trip in Michigan and a $50 ticket to a ski trip in Wisconsin. Then they discovered both trips were on the same weekend and they could only go to one. Most people chose the more expensive trip, even when they admitted they would enjoy the cheaper one more. The money was already spent either way. The logical choice was maximum enjoyment, but people could not let go of that extra $50, even though it was gone forever. This is not stupidity. This is evolutionary programming. Our brains developed in environments where resources were scarce and abandoning an investment often meant death. If you spent 3 days tracking an animal, giving up on day 4 could mean starvation. Our ancestors who persisted survived. The quitters died. But that same persistence that kept us alive on the savannah is now being weaponized against us in the digital marketplace. Here is where it gets really interesting. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, two of the most influential behavioral economists in history, discovered something even more disturbing. They found that losses feel about twice as painful as equivalent gains feel pleasurable. They called this loss aversion. Their work was so groundbreaking that Kahneman won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2002, largely for these insights into how humans actually make decisions. This is not a minor psychological quirk. This is a fundamental asymmetry in how your brain processes reality. Winning $100 feels good. Losing $100 feels devastating. The pain of loss literally outweighs the pleasure of gain by a factor of 2. Global studies have replicated these findings across 19 countries and 13 languages. This is not a Western phenomenon. This is human nature. Now apply this to your subscriptions. When you think about canceling something you have been paying for, your brain does not just calculate the future benefit of saving that money. It screams about the loss of the time you spent setting up the account, the loss of the features you might need someday, the loss of the identity you built around being someone who uses that service. The math says cancel. Your brain says you will lose everything you put in. And so you do nothing. You let the charge go through one more month, then another, because doing nothing feels safer than accepting a loss, even when doing nothing is the most expensive choice of all. This is the psychological foundation that free trials are built on, and companies know exactly how to exploit it. Let me walk you through how a free trial is actually designed, because this is not random, this is engineering. First, they ask for your credit card before you can access anything. This is not about verification. This is about commitment. The moment you enter those 16 digits, you have made an investment. You have done something, and that something, however small, changes how your brain processes everything that follows. Research shows that opt-out free trials, the kind where you have to actively cancel to avoid being charged, convert at around 50%. Half of everyone who enters their credit card ends up paying. Compare that to opt-in trials where you have to actively choose to pay after the trial ends. Those convert at a fraction of that rate. The difference is not in the product. The difference is in the psychology. Opt-out trials exploit your inertia. They bet on the sunk cost you feel from having already given them your payment information. They bet on your loss aversion, your fear of losing the features you have been using. They bet on your tendency to procrastinate when the action required feels like accepting defeat. Second, they make you work during the trial. They ask you to fill out profiles. They prompt you to set preferences. They encourage you to upload content, create playlists, build collections, customize settings. Every action you take is another thread tying you to the platform. Every minute you invest becomes another reason your brain invents to stay. This is called the IKEA effect, named after the furniture company that discovered people value things more when they helped create them. Researchers found that people would pay up to 63% more for furniture they assembled themselves compared to identical pre-built furniture. The labor creates attachment. The effort creates value that exists only in your mind. Your Spotify playlists, your Netflix watch history, your Notion workspace, your Canva designs. These are not just features, they are psychological anchors. They are hours of your life converted into reasons you cannot leave. Once you have invested time in a system, the barrier to switching increases dramatically. This explains why subscriptions and personalized platforms have such high retention rates. You are not staying for the product, you are staying for the prison you built yourself. Third, they make canceling feel like failure. The button is hidden. The process requires multiple steps. They show you everything you will lose. They ask if you are sure, really sure, absolutely certain. They offer discounts and pauses and alternatives. They do everything possible to make you feel the weight of what you are giving up. There is a term for this in the industry. They call it a roach motel. Easy to check in, extremely difficult to check out. And it is not accidental, it is designed. There are consultants who specialize in increasing renewal rates by making cancellation feel as painful as possible. There is an entire cottage industry of businesses helping sellers increase renewals and make it difficult for people to cancel. This is why the Better Business Bureau has received over 58,000 complaints about free trials and automatic renewals in recent years. Customers lost an average of $140 per complaint. This is why the FTC has started cracking down on what they call dark patterns, design choices that manipulate users into decisions they would not otherwise make. But regulations move slowly, and in the meantime, your bank account keeps draining. There is another layer to this manipulation that most people never consider: the cascading effect. One subscription rarely stays alone. You sign up for a streaming service and suddenly you need better internet to watch in 4K. You download a fitness app and now you need the premium version to unlock the workout plans. You try a project management tool and realize you need to pay for the integrations that make it actually useful. Each subscription creates a gravitational pull toward others. The ecosystem expands, the monthly total creeps up, and because each individual charge seems small, you never notice the aggregate weight crushing your budget. This is not accidental. Companies design their products to be interdependent. They know that once you are inside one service, you are more likely to adopt adjacent services. Your Spotify subscription makes you more likely to buy a premium Bluetooth speaker. Your Netflix account makes you more likely to upgrade your TV. The subscription is not the product. The subscription is the gateway. Let me talk about something even more subtle: the time trap. When you first sign up for a service, you spend time learning how it works. You watch tutorials, you experiment with features, you figure out the interface. You might spend 2 hours over your first week just getting comfortable. That time is now working against you. Every minute you invested in learning that platform becomes a psychological anchor. Your brain does not want to believe those 2 hours were wasted, so it rationalizes. It tells you the platform must be valuable because you spent so much time on it. It creates a story where staying makes sense, even when the numbers say otherwise. This is why companies offer extensive onboarding. They are not just teaching you their product. They are building your sunk cost. They are making sure you invest enough time that your brain will fight to protect that investment later. Think about how many streaming services you have learned to navigate, how many productivity tools you have configured, how many apps you have customized. Each one represents hours of your life, and each one makes canceling feel like admitting those hours meant nothing. The cruelest part is that the time is gone either way. Canceling does not get those hours back, but your brain cannot accept that. It keeps those hours on the scale, weighing them against the decision to leave, even though they should weigh nothing at all. There is a myth that surrounds all of this. The myth of the responsible consumer, the idea that if you just try harder, pay more attention, and be more disciplined, you can beat the system. This myth benefits companies because it shifts the blame onto you. You forgot to cancel. You did not read the fine print. You were not careful enough. But here is the truth. These systems are designed by teams of experts whose entire job is to exploit predictable patterns in human psychology. You are not fighting your own laziness. You are fighting billion-dollar companies with armies of behavioral scientists. The game is rigged. The responsible thing is not to play better. The responsible thing is to play less. Let me give you some specific numbers because this is where it gets painful. Say you sign up for 3 free trials this year, a streaming service at $15 a month, a productivity app at $10 a month, a fitness platform at $20 a month, $45 total if you kept all 3. You tell yourself you will evaluate each one and only keep what you actually use. But life happens. Work gets busy, the kids get sick, the trials end, and the charges start, and you just never get around to canceling. After 1 year, you have spent $540. After 5 years, you have spent $2,700. After 10 years, you have spent $5,400. Now here is the part that should really bother you. If you had taken that $45 a month and invested it instead, even at a conservative 7% annual return, after 10 years you would have over $7,700. After 20 years, over $23,000. After 30 years, over $54,000. That is not the cost of your subscriptions. That is the opportunity cost. That is the wealth you never built because your brain could not accept the loss of a few hours of setup time and some features you were not even using. And remember, this is just 3 subscriptions. The average American has far more. Studies show most people have around 4 active paid subscriptions, but many have significantly more when you count everything. Every single one of those is a potential leak in your financial future. This is the silent catastrophe of modern consumer life. We are not making one big financial mistake. We are making dozens of small ones every month, and the compound effect over decades is devastating. But here is what makes this even more frustrating. Even when you know all of this, even when you understand the psychology, even when you see exactly how you are being manipulated, it is still incredibly hard to cancel because knowledge does not rewire your brain. Understanding loss aversion does not make losses hurt less. Knowing about the sunk cost fallacy does not eliminate the sunk cost fallacy. These are not beliefs you can argue yourself out of. They are fundamental features of human cognition, installed by millions of years of evolution, activated automatically before your conscious mind even knows what is happening. The companies exploiting these biases are not hoping you stay ignorant. They are counting on the fact that even informed consumers struggle to act against their own psychological programming. So what do you actually do about this? First, you have to stop fighting your psychology and start designing around it. You cannot eliminate loss aversion, but you can reduce the losses you feel. Before you sign up for any free trial, write down exactly what you expect to get from it and exactly when you will evaluate whether it delivered. Make the future decision now, when you are not emotionally attached, when there is no sunk cost to protect. Put it in writing. Be specific. If the app does not help me sleep within 7 days, I will cancel on day 8. No exceptions. Second, use calendar blocks like financial firewalls. Do not just set a reminder to cancel. Block an hour on day 3 of every trial to actively evaluate. Make the review session part of your routine, not an afterthought. The trial is not free if you do not show up to audit it. Treat that calendar block as sacred. It is not optional. It is the price of admission for signing up. Third, reframe canceling as winning, not losing. Every subscription you cut is not a loss. It is a recovery. You are not giving up the time you invested. That time is gone whether you stay or go. You are reclaiming the money you would have wasted in the future. You are choosing to invest in something better, even if that something is just your own financial peace of mind. Canceling is not admitting failure. It is proving you are smarter than the algorithm betting against you. Fourth, audit everything quarterly. Block 2 hours every 3 months to review every single recurring charge. Do not ask yourself if you might use something. Ask yourself if you did use something in the past 90 days. If the answer is no, cancel immediately. Do not negotiate with yourself. Do not promise to use it next month. Just cancel. The future version of you who might use it does not exist yet. The present version of you who is not using it is the only one who matters. Fifth, understand that companies are betting against you. Every free trial is a calculated wager that you will forget, procrastinate, or rationalize. The house edge is built into the business model. You are playing a game where the dealer knows your cards and the deck is stacked. The only winning move is to play fewer hands. Be selective about what you try. Assume every trial will convert unless you actively prevent it. Sixth, create friction for yourself. Use a separate email address for trials so you see every marketing email in one place. Use a virtual card number that you can disable on a specific date. Make it easier to cancel than to forget. The companies are using friction against you. Use it against them. Seventh, practice the overnight rule. When a trial is about to expire and you are debating whether to cancel, do nothing that day. Sleep on it. If you wake up the next morning and immediately want to use that service, keep it. If you wake up and forget it exists until you see the charge, you have your answer. Your morning brain is usually more honest than your evening brain. Eighth, calculate the real cost. Do not think about subscriptions monthly. Multiply by 12. That $9.99 per month is not $10. It is $120 a year. That makes the decision feel different. That makes the sunk cost feel smaller. That makes canceling feel like saving real money, because it is. Let me leave you with something to think about. The subscription economy is projected to triple in the next decade. That growth has to come from somewhere. It comes from millions of people just like you, signing up for free, getting psychologically hooked, and paying for years without noticing. You are not their customer. You are their conversion rate. Every company offering you a free trial has done the math. They know exactly what percentage of people will convert. They know exactly what percentage will forget to cancel. They know exactly how much friction to add to the cancellation process. They have optimized every pixel on their screen to keep you paying. And statistically, they are right. They win this bet most of the time. The data proves it. The revenue proves it. The $500 billion industry proves it. The free trial is not a gift. It is an investment. Their investment in capturing a slice of your income for as long as possible. They are betting that the sunk cost of your setup time, the loss aversion around your created content, and the friction of their cancellation process will keep you trapped long after you stopped getting value. But statistics are about populations, not individuals. You can be the exception. You can see the trap before you step in it. You can design systems that protect you from your own psychology. You can make the choice to audit, evaluate, and cancel with the same energy you bring to signing up. Do not listen. That voice is not protecting you. That voice was installed by evolution for a world that no longer exists and is being exploited by corporations for profit. Your brain will fight you every step of the way. It will tell you that canceling is waste, that the time is already spent, that you might need it tomorrow, that the loss is too painful to accept. The real waste is not canceling something you paid for. The real waste is paying for something you do not use month after month, year after year, while your money quietly disappears into subscriptions you forgot you had. Stop funding products you do not use. Stop letting sunk costs dictate your financial future. Stop being the conversion rate that makes some product manager's quarterly bonus. That is how you actually win in the subscription economy. Take back control of your subscriptions. Take back control of your psychology. Take back control of your money. That is how you stop being the product. Here is the final truth that nobody wants to admit. We live in an economy that profits from your psychological weaknesses. Every free trial, every auto-renewal, every hidden cancellation button is a calculated bet that your brain will work against your wallet. The companies know you better than you know yourself. They have studied your attention span, your procrastination patterns, your loss aversion triggers. They have turned human psychology into a revenue stream. But awareness is the first step toward freedom. Now that you understand how the game is played, you can choose not to play. You can be the statistical outlier who actually cancels. You can be the exception that makes their conversion models slightly less accurate. Every subscription you cancel is a small act of rebellion against a system designed to drain you. Every audit you complete is a vote for your own financial future. Every free trial you decline is a refusal to gamble with your money. You are not powerless. You are just playing against professionals. Now you know their playbook. Use it against them.